Righto, so here's something totally different for the channel. So I'm sitting here with my neighbour Dave, and for those that watch the channel would know that Dave's got a few cars of his own, but he's also got some mates. How are you tonight, Dave?
Yeah, good mate, yourself?
Good. So mate, tell us a bit how this all come about.
That white wagon that we're looking at right now, a friend Adam's car, he ran it up the creek a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of fun. So then the rest of us decided to get together and thought we might all come too. So he had some traction problems, so you can see slicks in his boot there. He's come prepared to try to get better traction this time.
And this is your little beast, so this is what, 6 litre now?
Yep, 6 litre, turbo 400, 346 ratio, true track diff, factory live axle Borg Warner.
So obviously it's a street car, and we're going to talk about that later on in probably another program. We do the final version of it, but stuck it on a trailer, it's a lot safer that way.
Yep. If something breaks, you don't have to worry about trying to find a way home.
And of course, the first time for you for a long time.
Yeah.
Up at the drags.
I haven't been to the drags in a car of my own since early 20s.
Since you were in your early 20s?
Since I was in my early 20s.
So nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So mate, straight through scrutiny, and no, it wasn't, obviously it's a street meet, so there wasn't a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, no pressure there, and the car's fully engineered, so everything about it's right.
Mate, see the Chevy there, I love that car.
Yeah.
That big Chev, so you'll see that a few times in the video, because I was a bit taken by it, and I had a bit of a yarn to old mate about it, because it was pretty cool. So, mate, looks good in that light, eh?
It does. It doesn't look that good in person. You'll see that we've taken the plates off it as well.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move as well.
Just don't want any unwanted attention by scouts at the drags.
So we got boys are all lined up, and I found it interesting that it's a street meet, but it's like they sort of line up the light cars. So the little 4-cylinder stuff had a lane, and then the boys that were obviously parachutes and stuff were in a different lane, and then all you street guys, lots and lots of Commodores.
Yeah, there's lots of everything there.
How's the nerves?
Nah, they're alright. Still got ages to go yet.
It's not until you drive. I don't know how they chose what went in what line, but we just got told what line we were going to be in, and we were all on the same line. I can
tell you from when I was standing around watching, I reckon that's what was going on, because the same cars lined up against each other, and the guys that were running quicker times seemed to run with the quicker cars.
Yeah.
So there what, 4 of you guys? You and your mates, 4 or 5 of us?
Yeah, something like that.
So this is your first run on the other side here?
Yep.
So what was your expectations when you headed up there?
I thought the car would run a high 11 or a low 12 as a guess.
And you were pretty right.
Yeah. Traction was worse than I thought it would be. So that was the first run with a 12.474. And we only got worse throughout the rest of the night. All the way down to a 12.9.
So these two guys, these your mates?
Yep.
Yep.
So the Monaro on the left has got twin turbos.
Twin turbo on a 6 litre?
No, on a 403.
On a 403?
Yeah. And the one on the right is a Magnuson supercharged 6.2 litre. That one, the silver one there, is another mate's car. And it is an LSA with a cam and boost making 800 horsepower.
Team Commodore, mate, eh?
But they're all manual.
They're all manual?
They're all manual, so they weren't doing so well.
I thought it was interesting. I think the first run through you were the quickest, mate. The least amount of horsepower and the fastest time.
Yeah. I didn't have to deal with the clutch.
I thought it was pretty cool, actually. They prepped the track really well.
Yep.
And like you say, you were struggling for grip a bit. It was pretty cold.
Yeah.
But for a street meet, I was pleasantly surprised how well presented the place was.
And the nerves too, you pull up to that Christmas tree and you don't have as much time as it looks like you have to get yourself set up and be ready to go. So it's really hard to not accelerate too much and blaze the tyres off the line, or not accelerate enough, or jump the start, or have a really bad reaction time.
Look at that old Chevy go, mate, eh?
Yeah, it does go.
So you got the bug now, or what?
I ordered some slicks last night.
You got to get some traction?
Yep. And we'll go back and try again for that 11.
So I was talking to the guys with this Pano, they've done the same thing basically. They'd ran it there, it's got a Clevo in it and not enough grip. So they put some different tyres on it, and then they started experimenting on the night with just how how many revs they were leaving with, and you know, big burnouts, little burnouts, all those things to get that right mix.
I didn't do 2 runs the same. Every single run changed something, trying to find that traction. And funnily enough, our best run of the night, chasing that traction, we put Adam's wheels in the boot of the VR.
Oh, a bit more weight.
Which put some weight over the back tyres.
Yep.
And that was our best run of the night of a 12.071.
12.0, so close.
12.0, close.
Yep. That was nice, that Monaro.
But I don't think you got that one on film.
No, I was talking to someone. As you do.
Best run of the night, not captured.
Couple of panos, mate, eh? Actually, I was talking to the guys with that pano when you ran. I was having a yarn to them about that. They built that at home.
Yeah.
On the shed floor at home.
I think that you'll find that most cars there are built at home mostly. I don't think that there's too much in the street nights that would be shop built. I think that most of this is a passionate type thing. I think maybe shop built stuff might fill up a bit more of the real fast cars.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, quite often the guys, and there was a couple of quicker cars there. This one here, the XR Falcon. It was used like a test night, you know, if they're probably going to go somewhere else. So it ended up running a 9, I think, from memory. So how many runs you end up getting?
8.
Oh, you got all 8 in?
Got all 8 in.
Yep. Someone was saying it might have been a good night that night because the State of Origin was on.
Yeah, and roll racing was on as well, so that might have taken a few players over to the other side of the track.
But I enjoyed the night. What they got underway about 6 o'clock, wasn't it?
Pretty much exactly, yeah.
Yep. And then we're all done and dusted by about 8, I think, by memory.
Oh, no, it was later than that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was like 10.
I must have been having a good time.
You must have been. It was a little after. It was meant to close at 10:30, but everybody had their 8 runs, and I'm pretty sure we'll have finished up by about 10 past 10.
Maybe it was 8 when I went up the stands and sat down with the family and watched a few and filmed a few from up there.
Yeah.
There we go. They are up again. And a 12.6 and 116.
We actually ran for the night a 12.4, a 12.5, a 12.6, a 12.7, a 12.8, a 12.9 and 12.0.
There you go.
There was actually 2 12.9s because I tried something different, and I tried a second gear takeoff instead of a first gear takeoff, which gave the second 12.9 of the night.
So what the twin turbo, mate? Did the dyno had that dyno?
700 and something.
Yeah.
But it was having a problem with being a manual, and and it wasn't making boost off the line because he couldn't get it loaded up to reduce the boost.
Yeah, right.
So off the line he wasn't so good, but then down the track when it started to make its boost, it would then burst into wheel spin because once again I only got road tyres on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's going to come back next time with some slicks as well.
Of course.
And you know, the cars are set up a little bit for handling. They've got firm suspension, not soft suspension.
Yeah.
They've just got road tyres on them that have been on them for years. They don't get driven much. They don't really wear tyres out.
Yeah.
VR I think weighed in at about 1,340 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds.
Times by 2.2. How quick are you, Dave? Oh, he's pulling the phone out.
Pulling the phone out of the pocket.
So if you've always wondered about, you know, do I or don't I, it was a pretty cruisy night.
2,976 pounds.
There you go. So it was pretty cruisy, and I thought the officials were really good the way they helped out.
They were unreal.
Watching people that have never stayed before and helping them out through the process, I thought was really good.
Yeah, they ran that event very, very well. Everything was on time. And plenty of notice too. So when your lane was going to be the next lane to start being pulled, official would walk over to you, all standing around the cars, not paying attention, and say, "Your lane's up next."
Yep, helmets on, get into it.
Helmets on, be in the car, be ready. Because obviously, if they have to wait 10 seconds for everybody, that many cars, that much of the night, you're not going to get your 8 turns.
You know, it ran pretty good, and fortunately there wasn't too many, there was no oil downs and not too many dramas.
I think one car spilled some fuel, and I think one car dropped the tail shaft or something that I seen.
So if you're going with a mate and you want to get down close to like where I am at the track here, just pay for a trackside pass with an extra $4, I think, and that lets you come down. It's you know, it's behind a wall. You're nice and safe and out of the way, but at the same token you can get a bit closer. And I've just got the camera up on a pole to get above everybody to be able to get this footage.
It was a very cheap night, really. I think for us as a family of 4, entrant car and everybody else's spectator passes, it was like $100.
Yeah.
Barely over $100.
Yeah. You can't do much for 100 anymore.
Nah.
So this Tirana turned up late. This, the guy on the commentary, they were talking to him about it, that he's been out of it for a long time, but he'd always wanted a Tirana with an engine built by whoever built the engine, and here he was and ran a good time and had a ball.
That's the other part of it too, you know, because there was 4 or 5 of us as mates there, and we were in the same line. Every time you did your run and you came back around, you ended up in a line again. Very rarely did it get broken up with another car in between. You pretty much stayed together without being separated. So every time we've done a run, you go out and you park in the ready to go again lane, then we all just get out and you're having a chat about your run, and you're going, "Oh, what tyre pressure were you running? How was that start?" And we're up and down with tyre pressures, and none of us had taken a pump, so we borrowed one of them off somebody in the stand, but somebody else didn't have a tyre pressure gauge. We did have one of those, so it was pretty good, everybody helping each other out with advice.
use the best looking car out of the big muscle cars. I mean, let's face it, than what it is. And this thing's got a pretty massively big set of ET Street the VF, but how's the LS? Hey, listen, you guys don't stress yourself. You guys do the difference between, say, the VF Holden and the Camaro. See, which one is in the way 15s? Well, mate, I'll tell you, it's an absolute credit to you and all your group of friends as well.
Thank you very much for coming up this weekend. It was a dream come true for me tonight. As a kid, I've always wanted to own a Tirana. I wanted to build by Hercules, and the man himself did so.
On the long road, I guess you can.
Excuse me, Mark and Steve. Yes. We've got a little blast from the past down here.
I think that was the late model. It had some radials on it, some drag radials.
Yeah, okay. What did it run? 9.7 by the look of it.
I went over and had a bit of a yarn to him because these guys were all playing tyres, and I went over and he had the beetle locks with the drag radials. So that's where you're venturing now. It's at a 15-inch radials.
Yeah, so I've ordered a set of 15 255 60s.
Oh, we'll just see whether you get traction or you break something now.
No, it won't break.
It won't break, it'll be alright.
Some of the research I did in the lead up to it, not knowing where rules were around different things that I came across, was if your car's got factory airbags and ABS brakes, etc., and it's all still in play, you're allowed to run a 10-0 with nothing. Basically, long sleeve pants, long sleeve shirt, an open face helmet.
What's this thing,
factory
Lee? What's this, Dave? What's this thing, Lee? Oh, it's still a 10, ends up running a 9.
Here we are, we blazed the tyres big time on this front.
This is like, see what happens if we warm them up, you reckon?
Yeah.
Probably felt like you did.
No, I don't mean here, I mean in the takeoff.
Oh, when you leave?
Yeah, I was trying not to get them too hot, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So hard, the helmet, the noise, the lights, they're trying to get it in timing and then not push the accelerator too far when all you want to do is go as fast as you can.
And that's what I was saying to you, like, people don't realise, you go to, say, Summer Nats and you go out and do the driving events on a Saturday night in the show cars. Well, I think they have them on they do them on the bitumen now, but when we used to do them on the grass, with a helmet on, and the PA's running everything else, you can't hear your car.
No.
You got no idea what's going on.
No, you can't. They sound like they're a lot louder and tougher at home in the garage than what they do when you get to the van.
He's saying he hadn't been for about 8 years. I think that's starting to show. That's, I think, the third red light in a row. I don't know whether he was trying to cut a really fine light with the Chevy.
Yeah, that's the reaction time thing. Once again, it's really hard because my best of the night was 0.0 something, but my worst of the night was 0.7.
7, yeah, sleeping.
0.7 of a second off moving.
Yeah.
The best run of the night, the 12.0 that we ran, was a 0.4 second reaction time because I was trying to pay attention to the tree, but not caring if I jumped the start or ran a bit late, more trying to focus on the actual takeoff. Because you still, I think, even if you jump the tree, I'm not sure, but I think you still get your time recorded.
Yeah, you still get a time.
And I remember going years ago and seeing the tree go green and cars just sit there for a couple of seconds even and take off because they weren't worried about getting it right by the tree. They were worried about getting their
They're not racing. They're just there testing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the turbo guys will just come out and wait for them to spool up until they get them up and then let it go.
Where in a lot of races we done, because my reaction time was better and being automatic, not manual, against my mates that next to me, even though they've gone out and ran a faster time right next to me, it kind of looked like I won.
Well, you did win the fastest time.
No, even when they've had a faster time.
Oh, okay.
So there was one in particular.
Yeah. So that's whole. Yeah. So you get a whole shot. So if you're quicker off the tree than they are, they run a quicker time. But you beat them across the line, you win.
Do ya?
Oh yeah. It's the first one across the line. Not the quickest time. Yeah.
I thought it was quickest time.
No. That's why you got a light.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. But like most of these guys, people aren't.
I'll have to rub that in a little more. Make sure they watch this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not a road we're going to go down competing in, but it'll be a road that I think that we'll start to do a little bit more regularly, just as a fun
I'm going to say, it's like you say, it's not a bad family thing, and of course you've got your young bloke in go-karts now, so that's going to keep you busy.
Yeah, and he loves anything motorsport related, so go to the drags and watch some, and we're going to Eastern Creek in 2 weeks to watch supercars live.
See, that's a night meet too, isn't it?
Yep. He's never been and seen supercars in person, so try and find him a little more inspiration.
The poor little bugger's only 7, mate.
Oh yeah, no, but he's got it.
Yeah. There we go. Changed angle now. I've come around the back end of the grandstand now.
Yep. And on that one there, wasn't really trying to spin the wheels, more just clean the tyre. Wasn't trying to do a burnout.
I noticed a lot of the guys were driving around the water.
Which I did on that one there.
Yep. So that's your mate with the twin turbo next to you?
Yep. And you can almost hear that there, that when it wheel spun, I backed it off, wheel spun, backed it off.
Well, next time with some radials, mate, you might be...
yeah, and you know what, a 255 1560 drag radial, will that allow me to just stall it up and leave the line flat out, or will it still not? I don't know.
Probably depends on the weather and the night. And
If it does allow us to stall it up and leave the line with the foot mashed, I think it will definitely run somewhere 11s.
Well, it will anyhow.
Yeah.
I mean, you ran a 12.0 anyhow, so I don't have any doubt that putting a tyre under it will make a massive difference. Was that your last run? Or one more? So I'm thinking if we get a bit of support for this, I'll obviously come up with it if you go up again anyhow, but we might, we'll see how we go. If people like this show, we might do another one and try and catch up with the boys and have a bit of a yarn to them about what they're doing, and even a guy like this. But it's one of those things when you've got your camera in your hand and you're wandering around and you think, what am I going to do with this? But I really enjoyed the night, and when I got home and looked at the footage, I thought, this is pretty cool, really.
Yeah. And for us, you build these cars with a bit of passion for building them, but you very rarely make an excuse to use them. So, and sure, we go out on a Sunday and we'll go for a drive and go somewhere for lunch, etc. But we don't get to put the foot down too much doing that.
No, it's changed, hasn't it? Back in our day, we could do whatever we liked.
Yeah.
You know, in the 70s, but it's a whole different ball game now. And I mean, we all get older.
Yep.
And have families and stuff.
Get a little bit more responsible. When it's on the road, it's usually got twin 7-year-olds in the back seat, not the boys.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just, we want the horsepower, and what we do with the car on a weekly basis of going for a drive, we don't get to use the horsepower. So it was like, okay, let's go for a drive and use the horsepower too. That wasn't a full event like Summer Nats where you're spending a couple of grand, you're away for a few days, etc., etc. It's just to pick the kids up from school, drive up to Sydney, have some fun,
drive home, be home by 11:30 and all good.
Yeah.
No, here's the last one. I'm back over the other side now.
So this is either the 12.0 or the 12.9 run. It's either the last or second last.
Can't read it. Righto, so that's just about rounded it out. Dave, thanks for coming over and throwing a bit of commentary on, a bit of an understanding of why you were there and what you were doing. And we're going to get together and do that final episode on putting the 6-litre into the VR and the whole engineering process. So Dave's been a bit busy building a new shed. Once we get that out of the way, we'll get together and do that, and we'll bring that final episode on the LS VR. So thanks, Dave.
No worries. There might be a small episode in between with a lumpy hammer inside the wheel arches if those 255 15s don't fit.